It seems like the NBA season just ended. That's because it did. And it seems like a new season is about to start up again. Because it just did. But before that happens, we've got to figure out where these free agents are going to be signing. In today's video, it's my prediction for 5 of the best bargain players hitting free agency this offseason. I'm telling you who they are and where they should sign. How's it going, guys? This is Troy back with another free agency video, and today I'm talking about best bargains. So these are guys who can be free agents that I think teams should be able to get for a fairly cheap price this offseason. Done several of these videos already covering different free agent topics, so make sure you check those out. I'm going to link those in the description. And we are going for 500 likes on this video. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure you click that thumbs up button. Helps in really growing the channel and helps in getting other people's eyes viewing this type of content. We are going for 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So make sure you click that subscriber button if it's your first time here. Help and grow the channel. First guy I want to talk about is Moe Harkless of the New York Knicks. Didn't Kanye write a song about him? How does it go? How could you be Moe Harkless? He is not quite the level of Robert Covington, Otto Porter Jr., or OG Anunoby, talking about Harkless, not Kanye, in terms of his three-point shooting and his defensive capabilities, but he can be a key piece on the right team. So Harkless at 6'7", 7'2" wingspan, he can defend positions 1 through 4. He's going to spend a lot of his time on the floor trying to shut down the top scorer on the other team. So yeah, he could stand to show more consistent effort, maybe pack on a little bit more weight, a bit more muscle, but generally he is one of the more underrated stoppers around the league. His shot is really what's putting him on a lower level of those other elite 3-and-D kinds of players, though. His three ball is just not consistent, so for that reason, I think he's going to be one of the better bargains come free agency. I think the Knicks will probably move on from him. He's the type of player who's going to be wanted by a team looking to go a little bit farther in the playoffs, or in some cases get back to the playoffs, which is why I think the Clippers signed him last year. It was a good idea, just didn't quite work out for them. I'd look for the Nets to pursue Harkless. He gives them another long and rangy defender to put on the floor with Kevin Durant, Karis LeVert, Jarrett Allen. And then what about the Suns too, especially if they end up losing Dario Saric? I see Moe Harkless as a guy to bring off the bench, as a change of pace kind of player. I also like him with the Utah Jazz. I think he would fit their defensive identity and be able to guard some of the tougher players in the Western Conference. I'm also really intrigued about what's going to happen with the Miami Heat's Derrick Jones Jr. come free agency. This past year with the Heat, he showed that he has some skill, but it's usually overshadowed by his insane athletic ability. I mean, seriously, just Google some of these Derrick Jones Jr. dunks, and he is on a trampoline out there. He's still in his early 20s, so a real low-risk, high-reward type of player. Not really suited for a team who's trying to win now, but maybe more of a team that's still trying to show improvement and get to that next level. So if he can shoot it consistently, the sky is really the limit for him. No pun intended with that. But Jones fits in really well in the timeline of a team like the Hawks. He would be another nice young piece that could end up being part of their future, and he would excel if given lots of minutes. Same goes for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They need some help in the front court too. I mean, just imagine him catching lobs from Colin Sexton and Darius Garland. Finally, the Pistons could use him. Think about this. Say they re-sign Christian Wood. Say Derrick Jones Jr. makes that leap. That's 2 really nice young pieces that you can have moving forward. Now let's talk about Rondae Hollis-Jefferson of the Toronto Raptors. So when doing my research on RHJ, I was surprised to learn just how great of a defender he is. According to The Athletic, Rondae has guarded each position for at least 17.7% of his minutes. He also spent 29% of his floor time defending an opponent's first or second option. So given the quantity and quality of assignments, one might assume they would just wreck his defensive metrics, but ESPN's defensive real plus minus puts him 30th overall. That's pretty good. He shaves about 3 percentage points off his opponent's normal field goal rates and drops them by 5% on 2-point shots. So I'm not a math guy, but all that sounds pretty good to me, especially considering he should be one of the cheaper options next season. His issue, though, very similar to some of these other guys, a little bit undersized and a career 20% three-point shooter. So yeah, his game is like Nebraska. It's not for everybody. As for teams he could go to, I think Toronto would like to bring him back, but you got to remember, they have other free agent priorities, and they're also saving money to make a run at Giannis in another season. I think a team like the Timberwolves makes some sense for him. They're not going to need his scoring with Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, and Malik Beasley, but that starting lineup is completely devoid of defenders. I think he'd be able to concentrate on what he's good at for them. The Wizards make some sense too, and for a lot of the same reasons. They were one of the worst defensive teams last season, so slot RHJ into that starting lineup to take some of the defensive pressure off of the Wizard stars. So what's going to happen with Markieff Morris of the Lakers? He ended up signing with the Lakers toward the end of this past season and was able to offer some scoring, defense, and rebounding. And while he was there, he helped him get a ring too, so I think there will be a few contenders that will be after his services and toughness that he brings to a team. The Lakers, of course, would like to have him back, but it's going to need to be at the right price. So would he be willing to take a hometown discount for the chance to get another ring? Hey, could be. But if not, what about a homecoming to the Sixers? He is a Philly guy, and I think he'd fit in well with the team. Doc Rivers, their new coach, just coached his brother last season with the Clippers. The Twins have similar games, so I think he'd know what he was getting with Markieff. And maybe if Doc squints just a little bit, he can pretend that he's still got Marcus on the team, and it really wouldn't be much of a change at all. Then what about the Houston Rockets? Could they make some sense? I think Markieff could work his way into the starting lineup with them if they figure out a way he and Robert Covington can play the 3 and 4 spots together. That would add some nice shooting and defense to put next to James Harden and Russell Westbrook. Last guy I want to talk about is Jeff Green, who last played with the Rockets. He is a very divisive player, and you're going to hear a lot of fans who had him on their team who are not very big fans of Jeff Green. This past season, though, he was cut from the Jazz, then reappeared in Houston, where he was able to reinvent his game as a small ball center. He became integral to the team's success. He was providing much needed size. He shot about 56% from the field in 18 regular season games, and even recorded 4 games of 15-plus points over their playoff series. So Jeff Green showed he can still play in this league, and I think he would be a bargain contract for a team that's heading into next season. I think contenders will be after him, so don't rule out a return to the Rockets. Even with Mike D'Antoni gone and maybe their small ball offense gone as well, the Rockets will need lots of players and cheaper players to fill out that roster. I could also see him making a return to Boston, where he did enjoy some success earlier in his career. He's not going to be asked to do a whole lot more there than play solid defense and shoot open jumpers, so maybe that would work out for him. I also think the Trailblazers could be an option for Jeff Green. Like Houston, their payroll next year is going to be pretty high, and they need players on cheap deals that will also be able to contribute. That's what I think, but let me know in the comments what you think of these moves and which of these players you would like on your team. Also, be sure if there isn't a free agent that I've covered yet, let me know in the comments who you want me to cover on my next video. Seems like I'm going to cover all these guys before it's all said and done. So let me know in the comments. Also, we're going for 500 likes on this video, so make sure if you've enjoyed it, click that thumbs up button. And if it's your first time here, subscribe to the channel because I'm going for 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Hey, that's all I got for today. Thanks again for watching. This is Troy with the Half Court Report, and I'll see you next time.